For our story this week, Whistle for Willie, our target skill is cause and effect. In Whistle for Willie, story events cause other events to happen. The cause is the reason why something else happens. The effect is what happens next. In the story, Peter keeps trying to whistle. This is the cause. What happens because he tries to whistle? We can use a chart like below to help us show why important events happen. We will be making one of these charts later this week. In our story, we also talk about figurative language. Authors often use words in interesting ways to help you picture what is happening. The story says that Peter scrambled under the curtain when he sees Willie. These words help you know how Peter moves. He does not go under the curtain slowly. He goes under very quickly. What other words does the author use in interesting ways? Be thinking about our target skill of cause and effect, and why things happen and what happens next, and also pay attention to how our author uses his language in his writing. Now we are going to reread our story, Whistle for Willie. Our story this week is called Whistle for Willie by Ezra Jack Keats. Our target skill for this story is cause and effect. Tell what happens and why. The genre of our story is realistic fiction. Realistic fiction is a story that could happen in real life. As you read, look for events that could really happen, and also characters who do things real people and animals do. Our essential question for our story is, how can you take good care of a pet? Oh, how Peter wished he could whistle. He saw a boy playing with his dog. Whenever the boy whistled, the dog ran straight to him. Peter tried and tried to whistle, but he couldn't. So instead, he began to turn himself around. Around and around he whirled, faster and faster. When he stopped, everything turned down and up, and up, and down, and around, and around. Peter saw his dog Willie coming. Quick as a wink, he hid in an empty carton laying on the sidewalk. He hid in an empty carton lying on the sidewalk. Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled? Peter thought. Willie would stop and look all around to see who it was. Peter tried again to whistle, but he still couldn't. so Willie just walked on. Peter got out of the carton and started home. On the way, he took some colored chalks out of his pocket and drew a long, long line right up to his door. He stood there and tried to whistle again. He blew till his cheeks were tired, but nothing happened. He went into his house and put on his father's old hat to make himself feel more grown up. He looked into the mirror and practiced whistling. He looked into the mirror to practice whistling. Still no whistle. When his mother saw what he was doing, Peter pretended that he was his father. He said, "I've come home early today, dear. Is Peter here?" His mother answered, "Why, no, he's outside with Willie." "Well, I'll go look for them," said Peter. First, he walked along a crack in the sidewalk. Then he tried to run away from his shadow. He jumped off his shadow. But when he landed, they were together again. He came to the corner where the carton was. And who should he see but Willie? Peter scrambled under the carton. He blew and blew. Suddenly, out came a real whistle. Willie stopped and looked around to see who it was. "It's me!" Peter shouted and stood up. Willie raced straight to him. Peter ran home to show his father and mother what he could do. They loved Peter's whistling. So did Willie. Peter's mother asked him and Willie to go on an errand to the grocery store. He whistled all the way there, and he whistled all the way home. That brings us to the end of our story, Whistle for Willie. Now let's move on to our next activity. Now let's read our decodable, Two Good Cooks. As we're reading through our story, I want you to be looking for words that have the double O in them. In the word good, good, the double O makes the sound. When you see a word that also has double O, listen to the sound that it makes. Be sure to be following along with me at home. Let's get started reading. Mom is on her way home. Mom will be late. My father and I will cook. We began with a good plan. We look at this shelf. We see eggs and ham and cheese and milk. Those will be good to cook with. We take out eggs, ham, cheese, and milk. Then we get bowls and forks and pans. We can't cook yet. Dad hands me Mom's cookbook. It will tell us how to cook. We look at the page that shows us how to cook eggs. This is it. This cookbook tells us to get eggs, milk, ham, and cheese. This looks good, I say. We have eggs, milk, ham, and cheese. I mix eggs and milk. Dad cuts ham and cheese into bits. Then I mix ham and cheese in with the eggs. Dad will heat the eggs, ham, and cheese in a pan. Just then, I see Mom. That smells so good. What is it? She asks. Can I look? Just sit and we will bring it to you, I say. Then you can look. Mom laughs and sits. This is a real treat. You and Dad did a good deed, said Mom.
For the next part of your lesson, I want you to complete the activity on page 110 in your Reader's Notebook, Volume 2. We are working on words with oo this week, which have the double O. For example, in the word book, we hear book. The directions tell us to circle the sentence that matches the picture. We have two sentences, and we have to match the picture that best matches it. For number 1, here is our picture across. Look closely at the picture. Which sentence best matches it? We cook at mealtime. We look at the time. Which sentence best matches the picture for number 1? Circle the sentence. For number 2, here is our picture. Which sentence best matches the picture? I see a little brook. I see a little book. Remember, when we talked about the word brook, we are talking about a small stream of water that can be surrounded by some plants. Look closely at the picture. Which sentence matches best? I see a little brook. I see a little book. Circle the sentence that best matches the picture for number 2. For number 3, here is our picture. Number 3 says 2 sentences. He has a hat made of wool. He has a box made of wood. Circle the sentence that best matches the picture for number 3. For number 4, look closely at the picture. Number 4 has 2 sentences. Put your coat on a hook. Put your coat on a hood. Circle the sentence that best matches the picture for number 4. Our last picture on number 5 has 2 sentences. Wash off that soot. Wash off your foot. Now, if you have not heard of the word soot, it is usually a black, flaky patch that gets on your skin or clothes from a fire. Look closely at the picture. Which sentence matches best? Wash off that soot. Wash off your foot. Circle the sentence that best matches for number 5. Once you have completed circling all of your sentences, you will be all done with your activity and our reading video. We will be checking our answers and reading our decodable during our reading group. If you have any questions before then, please let me know, and I'll see you later.